Hello, this is Xbox Ahoy, and this is the 41st episode of my Black Ops weapon guide. Just one more left. In this episode, we're covering the Cypress. It's a fully automatic weapon, unlocked once you've purchased all of the other SMGs. The OTs-02 Kiparis is a Russian weapon, originating from the former Soviet Union. Its name translates from Russian as Cypress, in reference to the coniferous tree. The weapon's design was first drafted in the early 1970s, but the first units did not enter service until 1991. It was likely the carbine variant of the AK-74 rifle that led to a reduced need for a new submachine gun, and it was only the fall of the Soviet Union that sparked a demand for compact police weapons in the 1990s. It was for this reason that the Cypress was resurrected, and saw introduction with the Russian Police and Ministry of Internal Affairs in 1995. A basic blowback design, the Cypress is a simple yet efficient weapon. Mainly a steel construction with some plastic furniture. The weapon was also supplied with its own proprietary suppressor. Eventually the weapon was displaced in favour of newer designs, such as the PP-2000, with greater use of synthetic materials and leanings towards a modern personal defence weapon design. The Cypress fires the squat Soviet 9mm cartridge, the 9x18mm Makarov round. Magazines are 20 rounds in capacity, or 30 rounds with extended mags. The Cypress is a low-damage SMG, dealing the same damage per shot as most of its peers, bar the MP5K, AK-74U, and Scorpion. That means it'll kill in 4 shots up close, or 5 at a distance. One interesting trait of the Cypress is its enhanced ability to penetrate cover. While most SMGs struggle to shoot through walls, the Cypress will perform as well as an assault rifle, better cutting through concealment to meet your target. Rate of fire is high, on par with most of the low-damage SMGs or the FAMAS, at 937.5 rounds per minute. Recoil is moderately high, however, thanks in part to this elevated rate of fire and a lower center speed. This means the Cypress is less effective from a middle range out when compared to other SMGs. You're trading controllability for piercing power. As well as assault rifle grade penetration, the Cypress also aims as slowly as the assault rifles, at 250 milliseconds. Reloads are very quick, however, at a sprightly 2.1 seconds, useful given the short magazine. A generous selection of attachments are available for the Cypress, including the full set of optical attachments available for the SMGs. The red dot sight replaces the weapon's iron sight with a precision reticle, providing a clearer indication of your point of aim. Unusually for a Russian weapon, the Cypress uses the default red dot model. Only the Kalashnikov-designed rifles have the squarer frame. The reflex is the same as any other weapon, and this attachment and the red dot are identical in effect. While they may assist in aiming slightly, the iron sights on the Cypress are relatively clear, and given that the SMG is suited to closer ranged engagements, the optical attachments are less useful. The same can be said for the long-range optical option, the ACOG scope. It provides an enhanced magnification for a better view on long-range targets, but this comes at the cost of higher recoil and a slower aim time. For a close-range weapon, it is best avoided. Extended mags is far more useful, providing 30 rounds between reloads instead of 20. This will give you a better chance of surviving when tackling multiple enemies, or in cases where your aim leaves much to be desired. This extra capacity is also useful given the Cypress's ability to pierce cover. Spraying through walls will be more effective with more readily available firepower. Rapid fire will bolster your close-range performance, taking your rate of fire to 1250 rounds per minute. This will reduce kill times on close-range targets, but will speed magazine depletion and increase overall recoil. It has its uses, but rapid fire is best left to the SMGs with larger mags. The grip's effect is to enhance your mid to long range ability instead, reducing recoil and helping you land more of your shots on target. This is a universally beneficial attachment with no downside, and one that is particularly useful on larger maps. The suppressor will keep you off the minimap while firing, but this comes at the cost of a portion of your effective range. This doesn't hamper the Cypress's performance too much, however, as the damage differential between close and long range is relatively small. Dual wield grants you 2 guns instead of 1. Double the firepower at the expense of your aiming ability. With a capability to pierce cover and 40 rounds on tap in a very short space of time, the dual Kiparis is a pretty devastating close-range loadout, although it loses its punch quickly at range. Overall, for most purposes, I'd recommend extended mags for the Kiparis. The extra capacity countering the weapon's high rate of fire, and will no doubt save your skin in many firefights. Otherwise, the grip is useful on larger maps, the suppressor can work in a stealth build, and dual wield is awfully good fun paired with steady aim. Our class on the Cypress is largely centered on addressing the weapon's flaws, notably its rapid consumption of ammunition. As with most of the low-capacity SMGs, Scavenger is nearly essential in your first perk slot, to ensure your supply doesn't run out too quickly. Scavenger Pro is particularly useful, granting an increased starting supply, but it remains wise to stay on the move and collect the blue scavenger packs to ensure you don't run dry. One fringe benefit is the resupply of your grenades. For this reason, it's good practice to make heavy use of both your lethal and tactical options, as it won't be long before you're able to resupply. Our second perk improves the Kiparis' handling times. Sleight of Hand is a useful perk, given the sheer frequency of reloads you'll need to perform. While the Cypress has a very fast reload even without the perk, the additional benefit of Sleight of Hand Pro makes it doubly useful. Halving the Cypress' slower aim time will assist in close-range gunfights, where milliseconds count, and aiming will help you direct your firepower with greater precision than simply firing from the hip. Our final perk fills a vulnerability in our loadout, as you'll be operating close to the enemy. Hacker will allow you to spot enemy defensive equipment such as claymores through walls, and provide a cue to toss a tactical grenade ahead of your movement, disabling any defense. This will prove a worthwhile benefit over most other third-tier perks, and the Kiparis' ability to penetrate walls effectively means you can simply shoot a claymore through a wall should you desire. For your lethal grenades, frags tend to be more useful against enemies lurking inside buildings with their ability to bounce and roll. Toss them liberally through windows, especially in cases where you spy enemy equipment. For your tactical grenades, concussion grenades are ideal for breaching rooms, as they're quick to throw, and temporarily disable both equipment and enemies lurking through doorways. Your equipment selection is less important in an SMG build, but the motion sensor can be useful in some cases, detecting enemies through walls, and potentially allowing you to shoot them indirectly. For your secondary, your pistol of choice is always a welcome addition to a class, although with Scavenger and lightning quick reloads, you will be less reliant on it. The Kiparis is an SMG with a unique ability to pierce cover to the same degree as an assault rifle. This ability comes with the usual benefits of a high mobility weapon too, faster movement speed, an incredibly fast reload, and a superb rate of fire. This ability is neutered somewhat with an elevated level of recoil, a direct trade-off between penetration and controllability at range. In addition, the short magazine mandates all too frequent reloads and a limited starting supply. Two traits that dictate much of your loadout, limiting strategy with this weapon. Still, the Kiparis remains a usable close-quarter weapon, with clear sights and some worthwhile attributes. With proper fire control, it can be effective at most ranges, and while some of the SMGs may have the edge in performance overall, the piercing power of the Kiparis does come in useful every so often. With arboreal appellation, from sapling to mighty Cypress, this buzzsaw-like SMG will cut down your opponents with ease. Thanks for watching, this has been Xbox Ahoy. Join me next time for the last episode in this series, the final assault rifle, the G11. Until then, farewell.